السلام عليكم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونسترشده ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. عباد الله، إن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. يقول تعالى بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم إن زلزلة الساعة شيء عظيم يوم ترونها تذهل كل مرضعة عما أرضعت وتضع كل ذات حمل حملها وترى الناس سكارى وما هم بسكارى ولكن عذاب الله شديد. ويقول تعالى: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. ثم أما بعد, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, I always like to talk about important topics that affect the Muslim community in general. So we as Muslims living in the West, we are facing a big problem. And if you get involved with the community, you will see so many people come to you and there is a lot of problems. Sometimes we hear about it as members, sometimes we don't. But being in the leadership in the masjid, ya akhi, you always face issues with people and try to get involved. And this is not unique to the Muslim community, by the way. But for us, it's more important, more urgent, because we are a small community and we have to stick to our principles. So it affects us more and more. It's the core of our problem is the family, because this is what protects us as a community, is to be strong families. This is the base. Then we go bigger, be in the masjid, and bigger as a Muslim community at large in the country. So the family, the Muslim family, having and facing a lot of issues, a lot of problems, and we have to deal with it. We cannot just deny it. We say, no, we are perfect and we have things. We all hear about marriage problems between husband and wives, parents and children, brothers and sisters, so many, even dealing with among each other in businesses, a lot of problems going on. And we have to deal with it. We cannot pretend it does not exist. And the problem is growing more and more. And I hear stories from other masajid, from other brothers, issues you're not gonna believe, and it's happening with Muslims. So Islam, from the beginning, emphasized on the role of the family. Start building the individual, then he moved immediately to the family, because this is how you build the community. First thing in the family is women, because women before Islam, not only in the Arab area, all over the world, they have no rights, no value, nothing. Islam came first to give the women equal rights like men. They are equal. They have duties and they have responsibilities, exactly like men. And if you see Allah Azza wa Jal describe how the Arab before Islam used to deal with a female, when they tell them you have a daughter coming. يقول تعالى: وإذا بشر أحدهم بالأنثى ظل وجهه مسودا وهو كظيم ويتوارى من القوم من سوء ما بشر به أيمسكه على هون أم يدسه في التراب ألا ساء ما يحكمون. When the news is brought to one of them of the birth of a female child, his face darkened and he is filled with onward grief. With shame he hides himself from his people because of the bad news he has heard. Shall he retain it or in contempt or bury it in dust? Ah, what an evil choice they decide on. So they used to bury the daughters. Wa'd al-banat. Imagine somebody will have a baby girl and he will bury her alive. That was just to hide their shame. They don't want girls, only boys. Islam came and described that. And we're going to talk how Islam gives respect and rights for women. First, for the mother. The hadith from Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال: جاء رجل إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال: يا رسول الله، من أحق الناس بحسن صحابتي وصحبتي؟ حديث آخر. قال أمك. قال ثم من؟ قال أمك. قال ثم من؟ قال أمك. قال ثم من؟ قال أبوك. So he said, a person came to the Prophet ﷺ, he said, who is the best person I have company? He deserved my company the most. He said, your mother. Then he said, who? Then he said, your mother. Then he said, who? He said, your mother, then your father. So 3 times he put the mother first. You have to be good to your mother, of course, with your father also. Now, for the daughters, how to take care of your daughters. عن أنس بن مالك رضي الله عنه قال صلى الله عليه وسلم من عال جاريتين حتى تبلغا جاء يوم القيامة أنا وهو وضم أصابعه. So جاريتين means daughters, not slave. جاريتين. So the Prophet ﷺ said, anyone who has 2 daughters and he raised them and take care of them, he will come the day of judgment with me like this. He put his fingers together. And taking care of the wives. عن عائشة رضي الله عنها قالت قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم خيركم خيركم لأهله وأنا خيركم لأهلي. The best among you is the best for his family. The Arab says أهله means wife. So the best among you who is the best to his wife, of course, and his children, and I'm the best of you to my family. So he's giving us living example how to deal with our wives, with our daughters, with our sisters. Remember when he said jariyatayn does not mean only daughters, could be your 2 sisters. Also you take care of them. Now Islam put big responsibilities on the parents to raise their children. Not only to feed them, physically raise them, no. You have to raise them religiously. You have to take care of your children religiously. You are in charge. And as the hadith says, كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. Each one of us is a shepherd and he's in charge of his flock, his people. Whoever under you. If you are in charge of a masjid, you are in charge, you will be asked about that. If you are in your home, you'll be asked about your children, about your wife, about your sister. You're going to be asked about it. What did you do about it? Now, one thing very important, we all misunderstand. The principle of qiwama or qawama. When they think people, qawama, that's me, or I'm going to be in charge of them. But that's not what it means. It means the exact meaning. They have it means men are the protectors and maintainers of women. الرجال قوامون على النساء. Men are the protectors and maintainers of women. So we have to protect and help and serve our wives. We have to take care of them. It's not like qawama means, oh, I order you to do this. That's not the meaning of it, ya akhi. We have to understand that. And Allah Azza wa Jalla, when He talks about marriage, He calls it al-mithaq al-ghalidh. This is binding, firm covenant. That's what the relation between a wife and a husband is. A strong. You come to marry a girl to her father. He raised her for years, taking care of her. This is the dearest thing to his heart. And you take her, you have to deal with her in a nice way. She's not a slave. She has rights. And you have to protect her. And the better you are, the better you deal with your wife. And when you hear stories, ya akhi, in the masjid, I'm going to talk about women also, but now I'm talking about men part. When you hear stories how some brothers, unfortunately, deal with their wives, wallahi, ya akhi, you want to cry. You don't believe this is a Muslim who pray. Like, ya akhi, what Islam is teaching you? How can you treat a woman like this? So we have to have love and mercy. You cannot do it like that, ya akhi. So we have to be very careful. Even when it doesn't work, Allah Azza wa Jal put rules for the divorce. Allah Azza wa Jal says, وَلِلْمُطَلَّقَاتِ مَتَاعٌ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ حَقًّا عَلَى الْمُتَّقِينَ. For divorced women is a suitable gift. This a duty on the pious people. And Allah Azza wa Jal says, وَإِذَا طَلَّقْتُمُ النِّسَاءَ فَبَلَغْنَ أَجَلَهُنَّ فَلَا تَعْضِلُوهُنَّ أَن يَنكَحْنَ أَزْوَاجَهُنَّ إِذَا تَرَاضَوْا بَيْنَهُم بِالْمَعْرُوفِ ذَلِكَ يُوعَظُ بِهِ مَنْ كَانَ مِنكُمْ يُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ ذَلِكَ أَزْكَى لَكُمْ وَأَطْهَرُ وَاللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ وَأَنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. So when a divorced woman fulfill the term of her iddah, do not prevent them from marrying another husband if they mutually agree in equitable terms. So once a woman divorced, leave her alone. In this country you hear a lot of stories about boyfriends, forget about even husband, who go kill or harm his ex-girlfriend or his ex-wife because he doesn't let it go. He doesn't want to let go. Either stay with the woman or let her go live her life. You don't own her. Once you divorce her, if you don't want her, she is free, she could do whatever. She doesn't belong to you. We have to understand that. Now, living in this country, or in the West at large, we have to have very careful balance. You cannot isolate yourself from the rest of the communities. You cannot engulf yourself inside a box and say, we are Muslims, we're going to live alone, we have nothing to do with anybody. In the same token, you cannot dissolve and say, like many youth, I want to be exactly like everybody else. If they drink, I drink. If they gamble, I gamble. If they go out partying, I'll go partying. We have our unique personality, identity, we have to keep it. Just like they give very beautiful example, they say you have a big bowl of salad, it has tomatoes, cucumber, lettuce, mint, vegetables, whatever you want. They form a very good combination. But each one of it still super individual. You could see each one by itself, the tomato by itself, the cucumber by itself. So we should be like that. We are in harmony with the rest of the society, but we have our own identity. We have to keep it. And our children is very important. For us, maybe the first generation who came here, we still have some of our identity from back home, the old countries. But for our children and their children, if we don't give them special identity, they're gonna dissolve. In 100 years, there will be, and I'm sure most of us see people, sometimes they tell you, oh, my grandparents, my great-grandparents came from Albania, or from Turkey, or from Syria, from Lebanon. And they don't, what their religion? He said, I don't know. They don't know, they're Muslims, Christians, doesn't matter. They dissolve, it's over. Now, how can we deal with this issue? Now, we talk about the issue, but we have to deal with it. The parents should listen to each other first. I'm talking about the marriage problem. Listening, ya akhi. This is the most important. Listen to your children. Listen to their issues. I remember when we were children, at lunchtime, my father would bring us and let us talk about our school, what our teacher talked about, what we did, what did we do during the day with our friends. Listen to your children. Talk to them. See what's going on. And the same also with the wife and husband. Ya akhi, you come from work tired, eat, relax, and talk to your wife, see what's her issue. And the wife also, take it easy on your husband. The minute he walks from the door, you start complaining. So they have to have common talk, ground, understand each other. And very important, don't fight or criticize the parents I'm talking in front of your children. Because then when you fight in front of them or criticize one another, the children have to take side. You expect them to take side. When they take side from one against the other, they're going to lose respect for the other one. Don't do that. Don't put your children in the middle. If you have an issue with your spouse, you talk to them separately. The kids have nothing to do with it. Don't destroy them emotionally. Forgive and forget. Forgive and forget. You have sometimes to lose to win. So don't fight every battle at home. You are always right. Nobody's always right, by the way. But let's say this is the mentality. I'm the man, so I'm always right. Also go to the woman. Nobody's always right. And even if you are right, if it's not important issue, ya akhi, don't fight over it. It's not worth it. And the other part, forget. You don't, I say that to the sisters more. Something happened 20 years ago. Oh, she will remember. Your sister told me this. Your mother, ya akhi, let go. That's it. Live your life. If there is no enough space, ya akhi, we have in the basement is ready now. We're not going to allow anybody in the corridor. So you could go to the basement. We have like 30 spots in the basement. We have big TV and audio and everything. Okay, back to our subject. Now give some space. The spouses should give space, some freedom. A woman, okay, sometimes let your husband go with his friends sometimes. And also for you, ya akhi, let your wife sometimes have a break. Take care of the kids sometimes. Let her go visit her friends, visit her family. I mean, you don't know how much pressure each partner has, so have some space for each other. Let them live and breathe. Also very important issue. Don't tell people about your problems. Don't, ya akhi. Whatever between the walls, between a husband and wife, stay between a husband and wife. Unless it's something major, you have to get involved with your parents or somebody. Don't tell friends. Women also, very important. Don't tell your friends about your marital issues. Brothers, don't tell anybody about what's going on. This is not only wrong, it's haram. The Prophet ﷺ says, Hadith Abi Sa'id al-Khadri, إن من أشر الناس عند الله منزلة يوم القيامة الرجل يفضي إلى امرأته وتفضي إليه ثم ينشر سرها. The worst people in the sight of Allah in the day of judgment is a man sit and tell his wife secrets. Vice versa, the wife tell her husband something and they go outside and talk about it. Whatever between a husband and wife stays between a husband and wife. If they have problems, if they have things, stay between them, they solve it. If sometimes something bigger than them, they could talk to their parents, that's fine. Don't go to outsiders. Only your parents love you and they will put your interest ahead of them. But anybody else, friends, sisters, brothers, maybe not. So please try to solve the problem by yourself. If you can, ask somebody, a mother, a father, somebody very close, or an older brother, somebody very close to you. Now, for our children, ya akhi, number one, be a good role model. You have to be a good role model for your children. You cannot ask them to do something. If you smoke, you tell them don't smoke. If you drink, tell them don't drink. If you like swear, say bad words, ask them not to say bad. If you don't pray, you ask them to pray. لا تنهي عن خلق وتأتي مثله عار عليك إن فعلت عظيم. Don't criticize certain behavior and do it. This is shame on you. So how your children will listen to you or respect you if you tell them to do something and you are not an example for them? You have to set a good role model. This is number one, very important. Number two, ya akhi, talk to them. Get involved with them. See who are their friends. Go sometimes do some activity with them, especially when they get older. Play with them when they are young. Bring them to the masjid, ya akhi. Teach them. If you cannot teach them Quran, if your Arabic is not good or you cannot, ya akhi, put them in schools, part-time, bring them to Sunday school. Try to make them belong to the Muslim society, to the Muslim ummah. Let them feel it. If you just put them at home, they watch TV and how they gonna, it's not like a planet, you put water and leave it. They need education, they need help. Bring them to the masjid, bring them to Islamic school. Try to make them, if your country is safe, take them back in summertime, back home. Let them learn about the habits, the culture of your back home. Let them know about Islam. This is very important. Teach them, ya akhi. This is your responsibility and you're going to be asked in front of Allah. And very important, number one, I did not mention, choose your wife carefully. The woman is more important than the man. Wallahi, ya akhi, is more important. Because the best rizq you could have is a zawja salihah. The best rizq. And after that comes the good children. Your money means nothing. Nothing will last. If you have good children, ya akhi, after you pass away, they will carry, they'll make dua for you. They will be adding to your book of good deed. But whatever else you have, it's not going to be for you. So choose good wife because she's going to raise your children. And the same for men, for sisters, they should, their people in charge, their brothers, their fathers, they should try to choose good men for them. Because this is responsibility and amana in front of Allah Azza wa Jalla. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه يا فوز المستغفرين. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه. عباد الله، إن الله بدأ بأمر وثنى بملائكة قدسه حيث قال ولم يزل قائلا عليما إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين ثم أما بعد. Of course, we all hearing the news. We cannot not mention about what's going on in Gaza, in Lebanon, in Sudan, in Iraq, all over. And we get affected, ya akhi. I mean, we have heart. Wallahi, the person is so depressed. All the time we hear sad news affecting the Muslims. And you cannot ignore it and say, okay, I have to live my life. We Muslims, we have to feel for each other. But what can we do? How can we live our life, go on our life, and still hear all that news without faith? You have to faith and believe in Allah Azza wa Jalla. You have to know Allah have hikmah in everything. يقول تعالى أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. Do men think that they will be left alone to say we believe and that they will not be tested? And Allah Azza wa Jal described how human, our personality, He knows, He created us. He says, إن الإنسان خلق هلوعا إذا مسه الشر جزوعا وإذا مسه الخير منوعا إلا المصلين. Truly, man was created very impatient, fearful when evil touches him, and niggardly when good reaches him. Not so those devoted to Allah Azza wa Jal. So when you have Iman, then you know Allah have hikmah of everything. Just you have to have patience. It's not easy, it's easier said than done, but this is medicine for our diseases. يقول ابن القيم إن حياة القلب وبهجته وسروره هي بالإيمان بالله والإنابة إليه والتوكل عليه فلا سعادة ولا نعيم فوق نعيمه إلا نعيم الجنة. The livelihood of the heart and his happiness and pleasure only comes with the belief of Allah, in Allah Azza wa Jalla, and coming back to Him and counting on Him. There is no happiness, nothing higher than that except when you enter the Jannah. That's it. Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam one time entered the Masjid Nabawi and he found Abi Umama radiallahu anhu. فقال يا أبا أمامة ما لي أراك جالسا في المسجد في غير وقت الصلاة. قال يا رسول الله هموم لزمتني وديون أرهقتني. فقال صلى الله عليه وسلم أفلا أعلمك كلاما إذا قلته أذهب الله همك وقضى عنك دينك. قال بلى يا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. قال قل إذا أصبحت وإذا أمسيت اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الهم والحزن وأعوذ بك من العجز والكسل وأعوذ بك من غلبة الدين وقهر الرجال. قال أبو أمامة ففعلت ذلك فأذهب الله عني همي وقضى عني ديني. The Prophet ﷺ entered the masjid, he found brother Sahabi Abu Umama, he looked sad. He said, what brought you in time, not a praying time? He said, there is so many debts I have and so many problems. So he taught him the dua I mentioned. And he said, say it in the morning and in the evening. And Allah will ease your hardship and will help you pay back your debt. And he said, I did what the Prophet ﷺ. You have to say it and you believe in it. The dua, you have to believe in it. It's not enough to say it with your lips. So he said it full-heartedly. And he said after a while, Allah Azza wa Jal eased my hardship and I paid all my debt. We have to do that, akhi. We have to have belief in Allah and make our dua sincerely and knowing it will be fulfilled, inshallah Azza wa Jal. But remember also, I just remember that, the hadith about the person, the Prophet ﷺ said, a person make dua, he eats haram, he does haram, then he expects Allah to answer his dua. If we are making mistakes, if we have a lot of shortcomings, and we make dua for Allah to help us, He's not going to help us. We have to be all first. One person really sincere will help an ummah. So we have, every one of us, go back to his heart, try to fix himself to help others. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم من سعادة ابن آدم رضاه بما قضى الله له ومن شقاوة ابن آدم سخطه بما قضى الله له. So if you accept what Allah gives you, you will be happy. This is pleasure. Whatever Allah gives you, you are happy. And what makes you, when Allah gives you something and you don't like it, so why happened to me? You will never live happy. Never. So we have satisfaction comes from the heart, from within. You have to believe whatever Allah gives you is good. وقال صلى الله عليه وسلم ذاق طعم الإيمان من رضي بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا ومحمد رسولا. The one who really want to taste the sweetness of belief is the one who believes Allah as a Lord and Islam is the religion and Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم is his messenger. In the end, remember always we say the ayah, إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. With hardship come ease, with hardship come ease. So never lose faith, never get despair, do your best, make dua, donate, help your family ya akhi, have a good Muslim family, do your part. Allah Azza wa Jal will ask you only what can you do and you didn't do. He's not going to ask you for things bigger than you. So please take care of your wife. So nobody says, okay, your wives. And take care of your children, raise them the right Islamic way, so at least in the day of judgment when you stand in front of Allah, you'll have something to be proud of. إني داع فأمنوا. Just I want to remind you, please, to donate for the masjid, for the roof, and any other issue, brother. Do you have anything? So I told them the basement is ready, inshallah, for weeks to come. If we are overflowed here, we have so many people, we have the basement ready. It fit 30, 40 people, we have big screens, so it's all set, inshallah. يا ربي لك الحمد حتى ترضى يا ربي لك الحمد بعد الرضا اللهم لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك ولعظيم سلطانك اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد واجزه عنا خير الجزاء اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين وأعلي كلمة الحق والدين اللهم انصر المسلمين المستضعفين في كل مكان في سوريا وفي لبنان وفي فلسطين وفي كشمير وفي السودان وفي كل مكان يا رب العالمين اللهم عليك بالظالمين فإنهم لا يعجزونك اللهم اشفي مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين اللهم ارحم موتانا وموتى المسلمين اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما واجعل تفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما ولا تجعل منا ولا بيننا شقيا ولا محروما اللهم استرنا فوق الأرض وتحت الأرض ويوم العرض وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون وأقم الصلاة